The grand family ski trip to Aspen. For SUVs, 17 people, and a group chat conspicuously missing my name. I woke up in a cavernous, silent New York apartment. When I finally called, my mother, Eleanor, chirped, "Oh, Ethan, honey. We thought you were in the Escalade with your cousins." I said nothing. 2 hours later, my sister, Chloe, accidentally forwarded me a screenshot, clearly intended for her friend, Olivia. He actually didn't show. OMG, our plan worked. My only reply was, "Happy holidays." Then, I calmly logged into the luxury chalet booking website for Snowdrift Peak Lodge in Aspen, for which I'd fronted $15,000 on my Amex and initiated step 2. By 8:03 a.m., I had 101 missed calls. 1. A panicked voicemail from my Uncle Marcus, just blurted, "Emergency." It echoed what he'd said last Thanksgiving, half joking, half venomous, after I'd offered to cover the catering. "Must be nice not to be on the hook for everything, Ethan. Makes it easier when folks just forget about you." I'd laughed then, thinking it was just his usual passive aggression. Now, the punchline landed with brutal clarity. This year, I'd woken on December 23rd to absolute stillness. No festive texts, no early morning knocks, no scent of Mom's famous cinnamon rolls, just a silence so thick it felt like a shroud. The living room was immaculate, save for a rogue phone charger and a couple of stray pine needles near the front door, evidence of a Christmas tree that had been there and now wasn't. My Toomey suitcase sat by the door, untouched since my last business trip to Chicago. My toothbrush was bone dry, my wallet undisturbed. For a moment, I wondered if I was dreaming or if they were merely running incredibly late. So I called. Mom answered on the second ring, her voice a little too bright, as if she hadn't been expecting me. "Ethan? Hello? Where's everyone?" I asked. A pause stretched, taut and heavy. "We thought you were in the Escalade with your cousins, dear," she repeated, the exact same line. Just like that. 17 people, 4 SUVs, a flagship family vacation, and not a single soul had registered my absence. Not one "Where's Ethan?" text, no reserved seat, nothing. "I swear, Richard, my dad told me Liam said you were in car too." Maybe there was a mix-up," she stammered. Another silence. I hung up. I didn't yell. I didn't demand to know why I wasn't in the Aspen-bound group chat, why I'd been excluded from every planning email thread. Why had I footed the $15,000 bill for that opulent mountain chalet? And still, they hadn't even thought of me. 2 hours later, my phone lit up. The screenshot from Chloe. It showed their Aspen Fam Getaway 23 chat, 17 names, a pinned itinerary, and beneath it, her triumphant message to Olivia. "He actually didn't show. OMG, our plan worked." I stared at it. I didn't reply instantly. I didn't call her out. I just walked to my kitchen island, opened my MacBook, logged into the Snowdrift Peak Lodge portal, and clicked Cancel Reservation. The refund confirmation popped up in seconds. The $15,000 would be credited back to my Amex within 3 to 5 business days. Then, I typed one simple sentence into our old family chat, the one they apparently still used for official, boring stuff, "Happy holidays." No punctuation, no emojis, no discernible anger, just a flat line they'd remember. 30 minutes later, my phone began to vibrate itself off the counter. 42 missed calls, then 70. A text from Dad, "Emergency. Call me." I switched it off. It was time for step 2 to fully unfold. The first call I deigned to answer was from Dad an hour later. His voice was gravelly, strained, like he'd already done a fair bit of shouting. "Ethan, what in God's name did you do? Did you cancel the entire damn lodge?" I didn't raise my voice. Calmly, "Dad, I canceled my reservation." Turns out, since it was under my name and my card, it was the entire reservation. "Do you think this is some kind of joke?" he roared. "There are 17 people standing in a blizzard in front of a locked chalet. Do you think I'm the joke?" I retorted, and hung up. I switched my phone back on an hour after that. The panic was symphonic. Missed calls from Mom, from Aunt Carol, from Cousin Ben, from Chloe again, even from her latest fiancé, Liam, who'd apparently been fast-tracked into family status quicker than I could get an invite to a group text. I didn't respond. I just watched, because for the first time in what felt like a lifetime, I wasn't scrambling to clean up their mess. The silence had become sabotage. Mom texted, "We didn't mean to exclude you, Ethan. It's just, there was so much going on with Chloe's wedding plans and Liam's new job. Please, let's not ruin Christmas." I didn't reply. Chloe posted an Instagram story from a Starbucks near Aspen. Mocha only, ski slope, messy hair. The caption read, "Family means not always seeing eye to eye, but always forgiving." I actually laughed. The comments were a syrupy mess of "stay strong, beautiful," and "hope it all works out, hun." People really show their true colors when the chips are down. And then I saw a story on her Finsta, her private account I wasn't supposed to know I still followed, a screenshot of their family group chat, the one without me, captioned, "He's finally gone. Can't believe it took this long to phase him out." Beneath it, a gleeful shot of the Snowdrift Peak Lodge confirmation email, the one I had paid for. They had planned it. They knew I would pay. They knew they would leave me out, and yet they assumed I'd just absorb it. I started checking my statements. Not just the chalet. Chloe had been using my Netflix Premium, my Spotify Family Plan, my Amazon Prime account, including several next-day delivery orders for new ski gear shipped directly to Aspen. Nothing for me, nothing with me, but all on my dime. And then I saw it, an $850 charge at Aspen Mountain Ski Rentals. I hadn't put on a pair of skis since I was 12. They'd used my account, my auto-saved card details, my identity. I screenshotted everything. Then I scrolled back through our family chat from 2 years prior, when Chloe had tearfully begged me to help consolidate her credit card debt. Just for a few months, Ethan, I swear. It had been 31 months. The folder on my desktop was now labeled The Ledger. Christmas Eve night, I posted something. Not publicly, not yet. Just an Instagram story for close friends, featuring the refund confirmation for Snowdrift Peak Lodge, captioned, "Turns out I wasn't quite as invisible as they thought." The next morning, messages poured in from people I hadn't spoken to in ages. Cousin James, "Dude, I had no idea they didn't invite you. That is seriously messed up. I only came because they said you had a last-minute work thing." Aunt Carol, "Ethan, you were paying for all this? I thought your father and Eleanor had covered the lodge." I'm in absolute shock. But the piece de resistance came from Liam, Chloe's fiancé, the ever-present golden boy. Initially, he texted nervously, then he called, his voice trembling. "Ethan, man, I swear I didn't know the full extent. I genuinely thought you'd opted out for work. Chloe said you'd offered to cover the lodge as a gift, and then she mentioned you weren't feeling social lately, that you were fragile. Fragile. The same word Dad had used last year when I'd confessed I was burning out from my finance job. Fragile guys don't last long in the real world, Ethan." What Liam revealed next changed everything. He told me Chloe had been masterminding the perfect family Christmas since October, her words. She'd called it her holiday reinvention, new vibe, new family dynamic, zero drama, which, apparently, translated to zero Ethan. She told Liam she'd handle the lodge booking, then casually mentioned to Mom that I'd generously offered to pay for it. She never told anyone I was supposed to be coming. She never added me to the shared travel doc. She never invited me to any of the planning Zooms. "She said you'd just complicate things," Liam whispered, "that you kill the vibe." He told me he'd tried to suggest I be included, but Chloe had brushed him off. "Don't worry, he's used to being left out. He won't even notice." I hung up without a word. That night, I created a new master folder on my laptop. I named it Exploited. Screenshots, emails, Chloe's Finsta stories, Amazon invoices, lodge charges, Old texts where they claimed I was such an important part of this family, yet I was always the last to know, the first to pay. Then I opened a new browser tab. I typed, fraudulent charge, Aspen Mountain Ski Rentals, $850, and began the dispute process. Then, fraudulent use of Amazon Prime account. They thought I'd vanished, that I'd stay silent as always, holed up in my Manhattan apartment with my half-finished New Yorker crosswords and unspoken resentments while they salvaged their holiday. They were catastrophically wrong. Because while they were presumably scrambling for last-minute, less-than luxurious accommodations and trying to spin a new narrative, I was already 10 steps ahead. And I knew exactly where they'd end up for Christmas dinner. How? Because Chloe, the grand strategist, had forgotten her Spotify was still logged into my family plan on her phone. She'd been freeloading my premium subscription for months, ad-free, unlimited skips, and, most importantly, it showed me her real-time listening location. I watched her icon move across the Aspen map, from a budget motel to the ski rental shop, presumably to return the ill-gotten gear, to a few local trails, and then, the dinner reservation pinged. 7 p.m., the Alpine Hearth, St. Moritz room. I booked a table for one at the same restaurant, an hour earlier. I packed my MacBook, the exploited folder loaded, a printed stack of all my Amex transactions, and my phone queued up with screenshots. I put on a tailored suit I hadn't worn since my last Wall Street interview and drove my own car, a decidedly unfamily-friendly Porsche, up to a charming inn I'd booked for myself just outside Aspen, the kind of place they'd never consider. 7 p.m., St. Moritz room, the Alpine Hearth. They were all seated when I arrived. For tables awkwardly pushed together, 17 strained faces, the real family. My seat, naturally, was non-existent. I observed from the doorway for a beat. Mom was attempting a brittle smile. Dad was pouring wine with the forced gravitas of a man trying to project control. Chloe was glued to her phone, probably curating a making the best of it Instagram post. Liam looked utterly miserable. Then I walked towards them. An absolute hush fell. Forks clattered. Eyes darted. Someone, I think it was Aunt Susan, let out a small, "Oh dear God." "Good evening, everyone," I said, my voice dangerously cheerful. "Christmas dinner, I presume?" No one spoke. Then Chloe, her voice sharp, snapped, "This isn't your reservation, Ethan." I smiled, a slow, deliberate curve of my lips. "Actually, Chloe, it is. You're all dining under my name, the one who originally booked the Snowdrift Peak Lodge package that included this dinner. Feel free to check the original receipt." Dad stood up, his face puce. "Are you trying to make a scene, Ethan?" I didn't flinch. "I'm making a point." I retrieved my MacBook from my briefcase, opened it, and swiveled the screen towards the table, displaying the exploited folder. "Let's review, shall we?" First, the $15,000 charge for Snowdrift Peak Lodge. My name, my Amex. Then, the refund confirmation, time and date stamped. And here, I clicked, is Chloe's charming text. "He actually didn't show. OMG, our plan worked." Chloe started to speak, but I held up a hand. Then we have the Amazon orders. New ski pants, thermal layers, Chloe's new North Face jacket, all on my Prime account. And let's not forget Netflix, Spotify, Uber Eats, all mine. I turned to my parents. "And here are your grocery delivery bills from Fresh Direct for the past 6 months, the ones you said were coming out of your pension." Curious, this Amex statement says otherwise. Then I pulled out the final slide, a single, damning screenshot. It was Chloe's Finsta story. "He's finally gone. Can't believe it took this long to phase him out." A deadly silence suffocated the room. Mom looked like she'd swallowed broken glass. Dad's jaw was clenched so tight I thought his teeth might crack. Liam stood up slowly, cleared his throat. "Yeah," he said, his voice surprisingly firm. "This is where I get off." Chloe whipped her head around. "What? Liam, are you serious?" He held up a hand. "I tried to give you the benefit of the doubt, Chloe, but this This is pathologically cruel. You used him. You lied to all of us. And for what? A perfect Instagram Christmas. Chloe stammered, "You don't understand." "I understand plenty," Liam interrupted, his voice steely. "I'm not spending another night in that dingy motel you found. You people are unbelievable." He walked out. The family fault lines fractured openly. Aunt Carol whispered something urgent in Mom's ear. Uncle Marcus said, a little too loudly, "I had no idea you were bankrolling all this, Ethan." "I swear, I just thought you didn't want to come." Dad finally erupted. "This is exactly why we didn't want you here. You always play the victim, always trying to make everyone else feel guilty." I stepped a fraction closer. "No, Dad," I said, my voice dangerously low. "I act like someone who's finally tired of paying for the privilege of being systematically ignored and exploited." Then I pulled out the last item, a small, portable Bluetooth speaker. I pressed play. Chloe's voice, crisp and clear from Liam's forwarded voice note, filled the St. Moritz room. "Don't worry, he's used to being left out. He won't even notice." Chloe lunged. "Turn it off, Ethan." I nudged the volume up. Mom stood. "Ethan, please, can we just talk about this privately?" "No," I said. "The time for talking is well and truly over." Then I produced a single, elegantly printed card, like a business card. It read, "This dinner was paid for by the one who was left behind. Enjoy your meal." I placed it in the center of the main table, closed my MacBook, and walked out. Behind me, I heard the scrape of chairs, a muffled curse, and someone muttering, "Jesus Christ." Outside, a gentle snow had begun to fall. By the time I was back in my comfortable inn, sipping a single malt, my story was already beginning to ripple outward. Liam, true to his word, had driven straight back to Denver after the dinner and posted something brief but potent on his Facebook. Sometimes you discover far too late that the people you thought were closest to you are capable of orchestrating breathtaking cruelty and calling it a family plan. Cutting my losses. He didn't name names. He didn't need to. People connected the dots with surprising speed. The next morning, I posted a thread on X, formerly Twitter, no dramatic headline, just, "They went on the big family ski trip. For SUVs, 17 people, and a group chat without me." I woke up alone in the NYC apartment I largely paid for. 2 hours later, I received a missent text. "He actually didn't show. OMG, our plan worked." So I canceled the $15,000 Aspen Chalet reservation and then hit play to tell the unvarnished truth. Below it, a cascade of screenshots, Amex charges, the voice note transcript, Chloe's texts, the lodge receipt, and my final photo of the dinner table, 17 faces frozen in disbelief as I walked away. It detonated. Thousands of likes, retweets, comments, DMs. People shared their own stories. The perpetually freeloading sibling, the emotionally manipulative parents, the relatives who only remembered your name when rent was due or a big bill needed covering. Someone commented, "You didn't cancel Christmas, you reclaimed your sanity." Mom texted me that night, "Ethan, please take that post down. People are calling the house. We're humiliated. This was never meant to be public. Your father says you've crossed a serious line. He's talking about consulting our lawyer." Chloe hasn't stopped crying. I didn't respond. The next day, Chloe also texted a single, petulant line, "You've ruined everything." I finally replied, "No, Chloe. I just revealed it. A new kind of Christmas." On December 26th, I uploaded a calm, measured video to YouTube. Just me, a simple chair, plain white background, my voice steady. "I didn't want to do this, but you cast me as the villain before I even knew there was a script. You meticulously planned a luxury vacation using my money, without my name on the guest list, and then laughed when I didn't magically appear. So, here's the unvarnished truth. Not for revenge, but for the permanent record. I laid it all out, the years of quiet enabling, of being the responsible one, how they'd used me, systematically excluded me, and then tried to gaslight me into doubting my own reality. I played the voice note again and closed with, "If you're watching this and you've ever been the one consistently left behind, taken for granted, or made to feel less than by the people who should love you most, this is your sign. It's not your fault. It's theirs." The video hit 3 million views in a week. They tried to save face. Dad posted a rambling, half-apology on Facebook. Families have their squabbles, but real men don't air their dirty laundry in public. Uncle Marcus commented, "You should have just invited the kid, Richard." Chloe attempted a spectacular pivot. She posted an Instagram story with a black screen. "People change when you finally stop letting them manipulate you. Now I see everything with painful clarity." I laughed out loud. She was genuinely trying to paint herself as the victim of the narrative she had authored. The unexpected fallout. And then something remarkable happened. 3 of my younger cousins, the usually quiet ones, the overlooked ones, messaged me privately. Each said something similar. "Thank you for saying what we've all been feeling but we're too scared to voice." One even wrote, "I saw so much of my own experience in your video. I thought I was going crazy. Now I know I'm not." That hit me harder than any of the outrage or support. It wasn't just my story, it was an exit strategy for others. Then came the offer. I received a DM from a well-known digital content platform. They wanted to license my story for a short, anonymously narrated, visualized docu-series. I agreed on one condition: I don't want fame from this. I want people like me, the ones who are always expected to foot the bill and then disappear, to feel seen and validated. They accepted. Then another email arrived, this one from a fraud investigation unit at Amex, CCING, a law firm. Not for me, for them. Apparently, Chloe had used my name and financial details not just for ski rentals, but to try and upgrade her health insurance policy to a premium plan with significantly better coverage, listing my address as her primary residence. Fraudulent. Traceable. Legal consequences were officially en route. No more silent generosity from me. On New Year's Eve, I uploaded one last Instagram story, a photo of my Manhattan apartment, cozy, clean, a glass of excellent scotch on the windowsill overlooking the city lights. Caption: "This year, I unwrapped the truth." It was far more valuable than anything they ever put under the tree for me. No likes from the family, just a cascade of hearts from strangers and a few newly discovered allies. I spent the night watching the fireworks over Times Square from my rooftop, and I had never felt so liberated. On January 3rd, I changed my cell number. No warnings, no dramatic goodbye texts, no "if you ever need me." I just let the old number die, like a forgotten voicemail on a phone no one bothers to charge anymore. I saw the last few messages trickle in before the cutoff. "Chloe, are you seriously going to delete us all from your life, Ethan? Dad, you've made your point. Now act like a man and fix this mess. Mom, you're still my son, Ethan. Surely that's worth more than any of this, isn't it?" No, it's not. Because what I finally, irrevocably understood, what burned away every lingering excuse in my chest, was that they never included me out of love. They included me out of utility. The second I stopped paying, stopped absorbing their dysfunction, stopped apologizing for existing, I ceased to be family. I became noise, a problem, a threat to their carefully constructed narrative. I didn't disappear them, I outgrew them. I signed the lease for a new apartment in a sleek Tribeca high-rise, 30th floor, panoramic city views, decidedly no spare rooms, no pull-out sofa for unexpected guests. The first thing I unpacked was that photo I'd discreetly snapped at the Alpine hearth, the moment just before I walked away from their table of 17 stunned faces. I had it framed. I hung it in my new entryway, not as a trophy, but as a stark reminder: never, ever beg for a seat at a table where you're not truly wanted. The message they couldn't ignore. On January 8th, I received a registered letter, on heavy cream bond paper, from my parents' attorneys, Our clients are deeply concerned about the significant reputational damage caused by your recent social media activity. They formally request that you remove any and all public posts pertaining to these private family matters and issue a clarifying statement indicating that your social media content was a work of fiction, or at least, a dramatic embellishment. I laughed so hard I nearly choked on my coffee. I had my own lawyer draft a polite but firm reply. My content is truthful, extensively documented, and constitutionally protected speech. Should your clients persist, any subsequent disclosure will include unredacted bank records, full message histories, original voice notes, and sworn affidavits from eyewitnesses. Furthermore, good luck with the ongoing investigation into Ms. Chloe Peterson's fraudulent health insurance application. That particular complaint, I assure you, was not initiated by me. I never heard from that law firm again. Building something bigger than revenge. In less than 6 weeks since I'd gone public, I was invited to participate in 3 podcasts on toxic family dynamics, a panel discussion on financial abuse within families, and the filming of that docu-series in Los Angeles. I turned down most of them, but I accepted one, the first podcast. The host asked me, "What do you say to the old adage that blood is thicker than water?" I smiled faintly. Then don't be surprised when your own blood relatives try to drown you in it. The final gesture. And then came the sign, quite literally. I invested some of my now unburdened income into opening a small, boutique co-working space in a revitalized industrial district in Brooklyn. A hub for creatives, freelancers, people who'd navigated their own difficult exits and needed a supportive place to rebuild and launch their next chapter. I called it the Uninvited Hub. Below the name, in smaller, elegant script, a sanctuary for those left off the guest list. On opening day, I hung something prominent behind the reception desk, a framed print of Chloe's first, damning text message he actually didn't show. OMG, our plan worked, with a single, powerful sentence inscribed beneath it, and now, yes, I am here. I don't miss them. I miss the carefully curated illusion of who I once pretended they were. Sometimes, new acquaintances ask if I've forgiven them. I tell them I've released them. That's not the same thing. I don't harbor hatred. I don't wish them ill. I simply no longer carry their weight. I don't answer unknown numbers. I don't scroll through old message threads. I don't look in the mirror wondering what I could have done differently. Because the unassailable truth is this: I did everything they asked, and more, and still, they chose to leave without me. My last words to them were silent, but definitive. The holiday card season came around again, surprisingly quickly. I printed only one. I sent it to my parents' address in Connecticut. Inside, a crisp photograph of me, smiling confidently, standing in front of the Uninvited Hub sign. No caption, no return address. Just a small, yellow sticky note affixed to the photo. Next time, try paying for your own damn vacations. They didn't just forget me, they tried to erase me, but I turned their erasure into my banner. And now, they have to drive past it, metaphorically speaking, every single day. But they can't come in. Not anymore.